Welcome to Italy. Lovely country, shame it's filled with Italians, as they say. Now today we'll be taking Italy and this giant buffoon here, Benito Mussolini, and we're gonna do something fun. I had considered doing a historical guide, but considering historical Italy got its teeth kicked in and was absolutely useless, let's try something non-historical. We will restore the glory days of the Roman Empire. Rome will conquer all. Rome will be glorious. So, without further ado, let's go.
Bender, how did you get in here?
As your agent, I have access to you at all times.
Since when are you my agent?
Quiet! Call coming in. Yes? A big endorsement deal for Leela? How much? Hey, you put a 1 and 2 zeros in front of that or we pass. Deal.
Bender, that's great! How much did you get me?
$100.
As for focuses, the Italian highways is the beginning, and all the other focuses I will leave down in the description below. That is much easier for you to follow along with. Same for research. I'll give you the initial setup, which is basically machine tools, construction, engineering, and where are they hiding? Range improvements, and I like to use Fiat Avizione. Range focus is my jam, and all of the other research I will also leave down in the description below. Got a little construction to do. What I like to do is start with infrastructure. Why? Well, we are on partial mobilization, so we could go straight into military factories, but I think, might be an idiot, but I think it is worth maxing out the infrastructure in Campania to get ourselves a little bit of extra steel and more resources. And we do the same up here in Emilia-Romagna. Emilia-Romagna has 7 free build slots. With this infrastructure, we will speed up all of the extra building that will go on there by a considerable margin. Now, Italy also starts without any experimental facilities, and some of them are quite necessary. I really like the aerodynamics facility as well as the land warfare facility, but we're on a bit of a timer, and the one that matters the most for winning these earlier wars, well, actually the big war, is the land warfare facility. So we're going to build that preferably near a supply hub. Rome is always a good place to build something. I like to drag that to the top, so we build that first. And then afterwards, we'll start with 2 here and 2 there of these civilian factories. After that, it is whole hog into military factories. Always build in the high infrastructure places first if you can. Now, production. For ships, I like to tweak this around so that all of them, at least the big ones, finish before the big war, September-ish 1939. So this is fine. Once these 2 build, these other 2 will get built much quicker as well. And then we have a bunch of cruisers and other ships. We're going to just fill the production lines for these to the max. I'm just going to shoot them up to the top. Dockyards are going to cascade down until they all just build really quickly. We also have basic close air and interwar close air. We're going to get rid of the interwar close air and put 1 extra factory on the basic close air support. This is a terrible, horrible, disgusting design, but the factory starts with a reasonably high efficiency, and we can easily modify this into a serviceable fighter later on, plus a serviceable CAS. I'll put like 5 on support equipment. There's our tankettes, and I don't want them. For some reason, Italy doesn't even start with towed artillery, and we're going to need a little bit of towed anti-air. I'm also going to make a couple of trains, and then any fresh factories are going to go into infantry equipment up to like 25, 30-ish, because we will need an ungodly amount of infantry equipment. The Italian army is shit, and if we want to make it not shit, we have things to do. Next up, Navy. Group all of these together into a single surface fleet, and then all the submarines together into a single submarine fleet, and have them exercise. About that, you're going to run out of oil, so you might want to trade a little bit with people like Iran, Venezuela, that kind of stuff. People you're not expecting to fight. I usually do like 4 or 5 factories. Now, we have a war going on from day 1. We are invading Ethiopia. It's not going great. We have a southern and a northern army. First up, organize the 2 and put them under a field marshal. Then we have the remaining troops in Italy. So, there are a whole bunch of mechanics related to the Ethiopian war. We're going to crush them before any of those mechanics matter. So we have 4 mountaineers we're going to send them to the Northern Army, and then 2 additional infantry, and all of the remaining troops to the south. The Field Marshal will be Rodolfo Graziani. He's really good for attacking. The general up north will be, I like Ettore Bastico, and then the guy in the south, let's take Sebastiano, and simply press the buttons. There's virtually no micro involved. If you do not want to touch your troops, you don't have to. Ethiopia does not have an air force, therefore we can take our fighters out of here and send them all home. And then we have a bunch of CAS and tactical airplanes. I will simply put them overhead over the various air zones we'll be fighting over. Also, 1 wing to the south to cover Ogaden as well. That's basically the initial setup. As for trade, could import steel, but as soon as we start finishing our ships, we will no longer need anyone else's steel. Coal, we're constantly going to be importing from the Germans. Chromium, we will not be importing. This should be fine. And then rubber, we can get from Siam. Garrisons. So for the Italian colonies, I just go to no garrison. I don't intend to control them for all that much longer. For Libya and anything else that has reasonably or very high compliance, just set them to civilian oversight. Anything you conquer in the future, you can default to military governor. Alright, that is basically the initial setup done. And we can unpause and begin our glorious conquest of mighty Ethiopia. The goal here is to defeat them as quickly as possible. We must beat them before they complete this focus. On historical, this always happens at the same time. It's about 6 months. Now, for our generals here, if you really, truly, genuinely want to be min-maxing to the max, all power to you. What you do is keep an eye on this guy and this guy, and just check on their skills every now and then. And when they are 99% of the way to leveling up, you replace them. Once we have bold attack, officers have a 50% chance to get extra attack when leveling up, which is why we're delaying these guys from leveling up as much as possible so that we can maximize that benefit. They would level up too quickly for us to get the required army experience if we were to just let this run its course. So this guy's at 99. Good job. And we'll switch you out for Ezio Rossi. I like Ezio Rossi. Yes, he reminds me of a Formula 1 driver. Now the air has all arrived. Simply start putting it up over the various areas, and you should be able to bomb them to smithereens. Alright, then we get events like this. Always pick whatever gets you more offensive potential. In this case, top option. We also have our first 2 missions from Il Duce. A little bit of an Italian mechanic. It's not the best, but every now and then he will give you missions on a timer. You have to complete them. These 2 you will naturally complete as you take the required amount of territory, and as a result, you will then get some nice little bonuses. The game is updating, and these ships will finish October 1940, but it should speed up as we get more research. Fresh ships can go into the main battle fleet. Running low on fuel, but that's to be expected with the Navy burning so much of it. Once we hit our 30-ish Navy experience, we can stop. Alright, he's 99% of the way there. Congratulations, you get to stick around. So we're going to take the Officer Corps, and we're going to get Bold Attack. Now, when this man levels up, there is a 50% chance that he will not get just 1 level up. Look at 2 in terms of his attack. Yay, more attack. Brilliant. Over here, if we really want to do some micro, we'll pin that stack. And then we'll start a long walk around this border with the British. This is also an event that pops up once you've taken enough territory here. I believe in Tigray. Always send the ultimatum, you get to annex them for free. They submit. Yay. And we get 2 Italian units out of the job. It's 93 days left for the south. This is perfectly acceptable. It's going really well. Now, as our beloved generals level up, I tend to go with infantry experts since I love attack. We are unfortunately out of fuel, which does kind of suck, but we're almost there in terms of the Navy experience. It's fine. And success in the south. Well, hey, yippee. Well, look at that. We have them surrounded entirely. I just delete all the individual front lines now and make a Field Marshal order. If you don't know how, basically have no other general order active. Select the field marshal, hold shift, click front line, and then click where you want the field marshal order to be. And it's all just a giant mixed bag of troops, which is a lot easier to manage. I would not want to be Ethiopian right now, but fortunately I'm not. There we go. War is over. You'll know that it has all gone according to plan if you get a peace deal. If you do not get a peace deal at this point, you have been too slow and you have now lost the game. That is to say, just restart. It's a hassle. You don't want to bother with it. Okay, how do we do this? We could annex everything. That would be bad. Like I said, I am feeling a bit chuddy today, so we're going to puppet everything except Ethiopia individually. I'm also not going to satellite the Somali Sultanate either. It makes borders weird and I don't like them. So I'm going to separate all of these guys out, puppeting them all individually until there's nothing else left. If you have By Blood Alone, which you should if you're watching this video, because this is all Italy content from By Blood Alone, you can also get war reparations out of the separate little states you're making. And we can also get resource rights. Submit the demands. Now we can confirm and exit, and the peace deal is over. That looks wrong. So you're supposed to have one more puppet. The greater Oromo territories here have done something. Something's gone wrong, and they have more territory than they should have. Doesn't matter. Just split this into as many states as you can. Then go into your occupied territories, release the nation of Eritrea as a puppet. You will release the Somali Sultanate as a puppet, getting themselves additional factories, additional troops. And the older ones, like Ajuran Empire here and Eritrea there, have the old focus tree with even more factories in it. We're going to bring the entire military home and reorganize once they've arrived. The Navy can stop its exercising. We have enough Navy experience. What do we do with the Navy experience? We design a new ship. Now, with no compromise, no surrender, naval combat actually matters, and we will have to fight the British. Fortunately, fighting the British is really easy. Now, I'm going to lean into something that some people might consider cheesy. It is the light cruiser meta. So we're going to take this basic cruiser here and we're going to change it around a bit. Armor level 2. This is a secondary slot. No radar. The best gun control we have. We might need to upgrade later. Top left is going to be a light cruiser battery 2. The two next to it are going to be secondaries. As for the designer, I usually go with this one, CRDA. Because it does have some nice bonuses to light attack for cruisers. Save that, 29 Navy experience. And we're going to put these into production as soon as all the other stuff finishes. We're going to split some troops out. We're going to take all the Camiccinere, who suck, and temporarily assign them to guard these islands. Then we're going to separate all of the Irregulares, including these horses. The annoying thing about those things is they are templates that cannot be changed or deleted. Much like the Camiccinere, cannot be changed, cannot be deleted. I hate these. I hate these with a burning passion, but I have them. Might as well use them. I'm going to put them in Italy on the ports, as well as in Libya on the ports. That leaves us with the remainder of the military. We're going to take the 5 Divisione Alpina, move them out, and give them to... Who was I training? Ezio Rossi. That's fine. That gives us 1 army of 24, 1 army of 3, and then 5 mountaineers. We're going to need some troops. 21, and we'll have 2 full armies ready to rock and or roll are going to be converted. The tanks, the Ascari, the other Ascari, the cavalry, and the other Ascari are going to be converted into Divisione d'Infanteria, and we're going to have these guys simply exercise until they're trained. Burns a bit of equipment, but I want them leveled up. 100 PP, and we're going to spend that on a chief of the army. I prefer to get Badoglio. He gives me quite a bit of army experience. You could cheap out a bit and get Cavallero. He gives you some actual useful combat bonuses in division organization, but I prefer having the extra army XP gain. It adds up at the end. The Air Force can also come home. Nobody has to be in Ethiopia anymore. And we can slow down on our oil trade as well. Just leave it like maybe 2 factories to quickly replenish our stores. We won't need that much oil. Anyway, while we're waiting for those last couple of ships to be built, we can already take all 5 of these and then upgrade them to the Duca degli Abruzzo Class 3 series. So, yeah, CRDA is fine. And a maximum of 189 days to complete. Hey, steel industry interni done. We're now going to rush along this line, Triumph in Africa, all the way to the war goals on Turkey and Greece. It will ensure that we get like half of the Mediterranean in one war, and then we'll get the second half, mostly, in the next war. Be glorious. Well, hey, we've got our range improvements, so we will do something about those terrible, terrible Italian airplanes. First off, Fiat Aviazione. We'll slap 2 light machine guns on there. The extra fuel tanks give them sufficient range to operate basically anywhere. And if we're feeling fancy, we could add a light MG turret onto it. These are going to be basic bitch fighters just for that initial rush. And we're going to put them into production. And we can now start by first converting some of those really bad ones we made earlier, and then go into producing some actual airplanes worth having. As far as the rest is concerned, we're going to be force deploying these so that we actually have some troops available to us. We have enemies aplenty, and we would like to get these 10 divisions out sooner rather than later, so I'll put them on high equipment priority as well. I've also taken the liberty of renaming each and every one of these divisions to our channel members. These are the people who allow me to do what I do. They are the strength in my arms and the holders of my dreams, and these elite 5 are the oldest 5 channel members, the true veterans who will see us to victory this day. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate the hell out of you. It is thanks to you that I've been able to keep this up at current rate. Alright, 150 PP, time for the next PP pick. We'll get the solid workhorse. We do need quite a bit of political power, and this just speeds things up quite a bit. One thing I did forget to mention is your fighters and your tactical bombers, basically all of your airplanes, you want to group them up, merge the air wings, and then set them to daytime operation only, and shift exercise them. Meanwhile, Spain is Spaining. If you help this guy, the war lasts longer. The longer the war lasts, the better you come out of it. All right, I can send air wings as well. Yay, single air wing. It's great. We also get a couple of free spies from our focus. And you're going to want to deploy these to Greece, and the next one can go to Turkey. August 1st, huzzah! Good timing. We're now going to justify a war goal on Bulgaria. If we do that now, everything should line up nicely for a large Balkan war for us, so we can hit Greece, Turkey, Bulgaria, and Romania all at once. And we continue on towards that goal. And with our troops arriving, I saw them arrive. There we go. We are going to get them to work. Really just want to be attacking as much as possible, getting as much experience to ourselves as we can. Ettore Bastico, I could just use that to level this guy up a bit. Now it's mid-August. We do have a little bit of excess political power. I like to go here to the balance of power now and click take over the Ministry of Corporations. A little bit of factory output, a little bit of dockyard output. It will help in the long run. We need a lot of guns, we need a lot of ships. We'll keep making sure that the air is positioned where they will meet enemy air forces. Let's grab the ground support specialist. Our facility is also complete. We can recruit a scientist as soon as we hit 100 political power. Whenever you get asked about Austria, just ignore it. We will not risk anything for them. And we're about to hit the 125 mark for political power. And that means we can get ourselves a little bit of war economy. The best economy. There we go. So one thing to do note, Pact of Steel. When Pact of Steel finishes, Germany is going to invite you into their faction. Do not, I repeat, do not join their faction. Secondly, now that we are past the Balkan ambition here, we can send an ultimatum to the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. On historical, they will 99% of the time say yes and submit. If they don't submit, you can either restart, it's not been that long, or you can soldier on and not do anything to them, and then include them in the last peace deal. And as expected, Yugoslavia submits. Now, also part of why we don't want to join the Axis now is that Yugoslavia has itself a civil war if it's in the faction with Germany, as long as they have, where is it hiding? This one, anti-German military. So this will go away eventually, but you do not want to join the Axis early because they will have a civil war. Boy, does it mess with things. All right, as construction is ongoing, we can keep building military factories in the highest infrastructure provinces. Deploy the last couple of units. That brings us up to 2 full armies of 24 divisions. They are certainly not the best divisions, but there are divisions and we love them. They will be sufficient for the first little bit of war fighting we do. And they can continue to exercise so that they at least have high stats. The extra 25% combat stats do make an impact. So with our little wars, we've got a bunch of army experience saved up. We can start spending it. First thing I like to grab is my operations, and I will go for Grand Assault. I think Grand Assault is hands down the best pick here in almost every situation. Desperate Defense can be good if you're a minor power who desperately needs manpower, hence the desperate part. And the others have their places, but I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, Grand Assault gives you the best bang for your buck, and Italy is no different. That immediately makes our army a lot better. Next up, of course, we will pick the infantry. As for air, we got some air experience. Let's grab centralized control. It makes all of our missions 10% more efficient. So that air wing is getting attrited down, but at least it's getting us air experience. And the airplanes we lose here are literal garbage. This is just interwar small airframes. Here we go. This is the mission I said we would get. Industrialization program. Mussolini wants us to have 36 civilian factories. We're already at 33. So these two will finish. And most likely we will get the 4th from one of our puppets somehow. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to delete one of these and queue up another civ. First of all, naval invasions have been changed and they're shit now. You're able to do one naval invasion that takes 60 days to plan and can take 4 divisions. If you get the first tech, it takes 10 days off the planning, allows you to do an extra plan, and gives you 2 extra divisions to assign to those plans. So we, having that tech, can use 12 divisions spread out over 2 naval invasions, which will take 50 days each. But we can make it work. I'll take the first 6 divisions here, plan a naval invasion from Tobruk. Now we hold shift and spread it out over these 3 areas by right-clicking all of the tiles. There we go. There's victory points there. We just want to camp the Greeks as quickly as possible. The other 6 divisions are gonna go from Rodi, and we're gonna hit this tile here. The order in which we click these matters because this is a shit system and we're playing it to the best of our abilities. We're gonna hit that tile, we're gonna hit that tile, then we're gonna hit Athens, Chalkis, and Corinthos. The idea being surrounding Athens, taking Athens, funneling the rest of our army into Athens. Whichever port we take first is going to be the place we funnel the rest of our army in. So we're going to park the army in southern Italy and Sicily so that they are nearby to quickly rush in. 5 destroyers for one task force, and then 5 destroyers for a second task force. These 2 task forces will put on patrol. And remember to click that icon there so it turns gold or yellow, whatever. And they will rebase to the nearest naval base and start patrolling these sea zones here, the Eastern Med and the Aegean. As for the main battle fleet itself, we will put that on strike force in those 2 areas. That way we can start building naval supremacy. It's no longer instant. It needs a little bit of time to build up. So we have to get that done and dusted before the war starts. Ooh, Sara Emo. Yes, give me an Emo tank. You can start work on armor. Once we get that breakthrough we need, we're going to get to work on the flamethrower tanks. Flamethrower tanks are pretty cool. So what we're going to do now is go to our Spanish volunteers and switch out Etrebastico. We're going to need him to command our amazing initial invasion. He's the best general we have, so he must command that initial invasion. We'll switch him out for Ezio Rossi. A good time for Rossi to get himself a little bit of extra experience as well. So the strike fleet, the biggest part of our navy, I have manually set to Tobruk here. But the fleet requires an ungodly amount of supply that Rodi itself cannot provide. Secondly, we're going to bring the Air Force in. So the fighters will move to the tip of the heel here in Taranto. And then all tactical aircraft, the tactical bombers we have left, we are going to move down here to Derna, and they should have sufficient range to contribute a little bit of bombing to Greece as well. We also finished the justification on Bulgaria. Claims on Turkey is going to finish, and then we're going to declare a whole bunch of wars at the same time. So we'll be fighting Greece, Turkey, Bulgaria, and Romania at the same time without being forced to fight the Czechoslovaks or the French due to the way that all of this works. The invasions are in position and they are ready to go. They are all planned out. I've repositioned the Air Force to Taranto. So other than the oldest of our fighters, everything else should have coverage to do close air support. The newer fighters do have enough range to cover this as well for air superiority. We're going to be outnumbered, but it should be fine. Now, word of advice here. This would be a good place to save the game. If you're playing non-Iron Man, it's very straightforward. If you're playing Iron Man, little trick, you can save your game as well. If you now exit the game, it will save the game as is. If you then go into the folder where your save games are and simply copy and paste the save game that you're playing right now into the same folder or into a different folder, you will now have 2 copies of that save game. And when something goes wrong, go back to that copy you made. I know, cheesy, but I do it all the time when I'm recording because no way in hell am I starting a fresh run 16 hours into a recording. See, Romania is democratic, but because world tension is still relatively low, they can both not ask to join a faction, and even if they were able to ask to join a faction, if world tension were to spike above 50%, the UK would still say no due to the various AI behaviors coded in. However, upon loading a game, the AI's behavior is just a little bit unhinged for the first few hours as the game recalibrates, recalculates, and checks a whole bunch of variables. And within that time, Romania will most likely be allowed to join the Allies, throwing this whole thing for a loop, causing a whole mountain of trouble and basically invalidating the run. So this is why we want to make the save now. And upon checking up on the industrialization program, a couple of factories have kicked in from our puppets most likely. So we're at 36. We're not going to finish this last one. These 2 have enough invested into them that I want to make them, get them finished up so we don't waste the IC. So we're going to finish those 2 up, and then it's all into military factories. All the mills in the world in our highest development provinces. We are going to be pumping out so many military factories. It's going to be great. Finally increasing our productive capabilities. And we've completed industrialization. Whoop-de-doo. We're going to use 150 political power, go to our theorist, and hire Rodolfo Graziani, the Grand Battle Plan expert. This will allow us to get more mastery. All right, we have our claims. Make sure you have your save game because this is where it matters. So if we check on Turkey, they're guaranteed by Romania. Check on Greece, they're also guaranteed by Romania. And Bulgaria is guaranteed by no one. So we're going to declare war on Turkey. We're calling no one else in. Keep the game paused, by the way, while you're doing this. We're going to declare war on the Greeks. We're going to declare war on the Bulgars. That brings us into a war with Turkey, Greece, Bulgaria, and Romania at the same time. Stop all exercises as well. The Kamiçinere will hold the islands against endless Turkish invasions, and the infantry will now launch their invasions of Crete as well as Athens. Before we unpause, we can switch these guys to naval invasion support, and they will bring the big guns of our large ships to bear against the coastal defenses, giving us a slight boost for the naval invasions. Army primacy gives us a bunch of military factories and army experience, plus a cheaper doctrine, so it's pretty nice to get that early. Slow the game down a little, and we've accidentally killed the League of Nations. Ah well, it happens. Our volunteers, they're going to come home from Spain as well. Our naval invasions are hitting. Unfortunately, like I expected, Athens is fairly well defended. All right, we've landed next to Athens, so support the attack on the port. You might be forced to hit some force attacks here. If it happens, it happens. You should have the strength to do it. And I'm already going to ship them over to Chania, so they're closer by to intervene. We're landing, we've landed. Now, it does look like this is fairly well defended, so I'm not going to... I'm going to hit the Patras first, and then double back to take Athens, or help take Athens. These guys have landed in the neck there. Let's destroy the division we have there. Right, that's good. And start breaking out north. These guys should land in the neck. Things are going reasonably well, and we're taking out Heraklion as well, and the Turks have not been able to dislodge us from the Dodecanese Islands. Huzzah! Everything is coming up, Millhouse, air, power, secure. Everything's going as planned. Annoyingly, they're shipping reserves into Athens, which, helps us because those divisions will die. It just sort of slows the whole thing down. Annoyingly. Yeah, we're getting delayed because the Greeks are really responding every which way, meaning they've got troops into Patras now, and this division got pinned in combat. What we could also do is take all of these submarines, just convoy the shit out of Greece. That always helps. Alright, we were able to take Patras, so we'll take this army of 24, ship them right on in. And we'll just mop up the southern bits of the front while the reinforcements head north. We've taken Athens. Oh, they're still stuck in naval combat. Boy, that's annoying. I think I just sunk the entire Greek fleet, which I really was hoping to steal it. All right, well, one army is going to be pushing north. The other army, just bypass them. The Greeks probably don't have a lot of troops now, so if you see gaps in the line, just walk on through to the victory points. The mountaineers, we're going to gather up in both Crete and the Dodecanese Islands, wherever they are, just have them nearby to these two islands. And with this airbase secured here, we can shift our airplanes over and we'll have much better air cover, much better air efficiency. All right, once we take Thessaloniki, this is Jover. There we go. As for this, we're simply going to annex everything and take all of the fleet, which unfortunately we sunk most of it, so all I have is a couple of screens. Confirm and exit. Immediately pause the game. You'll notice that we are now the proud owners of the Aegean Islands. What we're going to do is immediately funnel our mountaineers over to both islands, along with the Red Army, or whatever color army you have. We're going to ship that across as well. We're going to head over here, make sure these two islands are covered. Now, on the off chance that they are not covered, what we can also do is take 6 divisions and plan a naval invasion from Athens into Izmir and the tile above Izmir. This will concentrate 12 divisions on these 3 tiles. It will take 50 days to prepare. It's a giant pain in the ass. I would have used Ettore Bastico, but he also never ended up getting the invader trait. It is what it is, it's fine. What we're going to do up here is request forces from Yugoslavia. They have about 22 divisions. Assign them to a separate army. And we're going to put them here-ish, more or less. And the purpose of those divisions will be to simply hold the line. Now we must hurry and get our divisions to reposition to the places I want them to position to. As soon as we take the islands, if we're fast enough, we might be able to push across the strait into Bursa. But we'll have to see. I think we're too slow. Alright. These divisions managed to get in, so immediately push onto that naval tile. And these guys are going to start pushing north as soon as they have a little bit of organization. And these guys are going to help. Half of them head south, and the other half try to push north. It's easier to push across the strait than it would be to straight up invade. So if we get across, brilliant. If we can't, well, we still have that naval invasion plan that we can make use of. Alright, so one army has, in fact, made it across. So we're going to set them here. Simply an aggressive push to the north of Turkey. So the mountaineers I'll put here to assist with pressuring Izmir. So getting across there is going to be pain in the ass. With that done, we don't really need the naval invasion on Izmir. Turkey's going to rush troops in to try and contain this, which, you know, they should. So we're going to hit them somewhere else. Launch a naval invasion from Heraklion. So we're launching about 2 naval invasions, 6 divisions each, both from Rodi as well as Cyprus to hit Adana and the tiles next to Adana with as many divisions as we have. Anyway, we need the Navy back on strike force so we can start building some dominance again. Dominance does naturally drop off. Make sure we can motorize the supply here as well. You know what? We need more than a little bit of fuel, so I'm just going to trade with the USA. I don't intend to fight them anyway. We got our long-range fighters up over Turkey as well, along with a little bit of CAS. Just realized I forgot to take a focus, so don't be like me. I just completely forgot to take focuses for this entire time. I fucked this up tremendously. It doesn't change much anyway. Anyway, we'll use our political power now to hire, where is this guy hiding? This infantry expert is a worthwhile investment. Makes the infantry we have a little bit punchier, and Lord knows we need a little bit of punch to take out the Turks today. Alright, now we can start pressuring Izmir properly. Mountaineers and infantry, both sides. The river crossings are annoying, straight crossings annoying, but we're already doing a pretty good job of applying pressure up north. And up here, we're gonna snake, grab as much land as possible. If we get to Istanbul, that's great. We're gonna spend a little bit of army experience now as well. We're gonna go into our land doctrines, infantry, and we have 2 options here. Both are perfectly feasible. Large unit tactics to create some insane infantry to actually push and hold with, but assault infantry is it for us today. What I want from this is the extra soft attack that the support Italians give me, and down here the medium flame tank, breakthrough, and soft attack as well. We're going to use that to really juice our mountaineers to the gills. The second naval invasion is really what's going to kick the door down. Again, keep rejecting Germany's invitation to the faction. You don't want to be in their faction. Not yet, anyway. Alright, we're not pushing into Istanbul, unfortunately. I'll just leave one division here to cover that front. Turkish army is relatively large, relatively strong. There we go. We've taken Izmir. With Izmir in our hands, the Mountaineers also come into play, and the Mountaineers will definitely make all of this so much better. Plus, now we have more supply in this region. Oh man, I've sunk the Turkish fleet as well. I wanted that fleet. We're in Ankara, and we're gonna keep spreading out. This is just a game of playing snake, snake, snake. Spread out the Turkish army, and then there'll be 2 overtacks to really stop us. Aggressive attacks all around. Japan has started its thing, so we're gonna go to Japan, have a little chat with them. They are non-aligned, so we're going to have to improve relations with them. Once relations are positive, we will send them an attaché to get us more mastery and more army experience. We need more. Speaking of army experience, we're going to spend a little bit of it to grab logistical focus. This reduces fuel consumption, brilliant, as well as overall supply consumption. Naval invasion is underway. You can also pick an air doctrine. Battlefield support is the one you want. Yeah, as expected, they have nothing here, so we've taken the port of Tarsus, so we'll ship the remaining divisions over as well for Second Army, and we will simply attack, aggressively push out from this beachhead. The second beachhead established, Turkey is essentially defeated. This is a pain in the ass. Turkey is geographically not the most interesting place to fight in, but it's, you know, could be worse. So head for the victory points. Go, 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 go. And is this not beautiful? Federal State of Austria, they break the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye every time, so fine. We really don't care. A couple more victory points, and this is over. Yeah, this naval invasion really is just completely overstretches the Turkish capacity to defend themselves, so they're isolated, they're easily defeated. If we had taken Istanbul, it would probably be over, but we got a little unlucky with that. Anyway, micro. I love myself some micro. And there goes Turkey. So we simply annex everything and just take their entire fleet, submit those demands, confirm and exit, and then pause. Immediately pause the game. We're going to take both of these armies that we used for the invasion of Turkey and give them a field marshal order here in Thrace. These guys are going to rush here as quickly as possible. And the purpose will be a thrust up through Bulgaria, straight to Bucharest and Ploesti. As for the Navy's done its job. I'm simply going to send all of it back to port. Now, these guys repositioning, we're going to railroad them in. So strategic redeployment means you hit B when they're moving, and the arrow turns into a railway, and they will quickly reposition, and then we will aggressively push north. And the moment they arrive, start pushing north. Just do it manually. Head north. Grab land, grab land, grab land. Go, go, go. Overwhelm them. He is going to be grabbing Bucharest and Ploesti. They are vital supply hubs, not to mention the fact that they are on the other side of the river, so you don't have to worry about that river penalty when you're trying to cross into Romania proper. And from there, we can easily rip out the remaining guts of Romania. There we go. That is Bucharest. And from here, we'll spread out. That is Sofia taken. And with that, Bulgaria is dead. Sometimes they guard Sofia, and you're going to have to grind them down. It's easy. It's just a little bit of time. And same with Bulgaria. We simply annex everything, submit our demands. They have no fleet. Confirm and exit and delete the remaining Romanian troops in the area while you reposition your armies. Speed, surprise, and violence of action. Speaking of violence, we're going to use our political power now to hire ein war industrialist. He will allow us to make more military factories, which we will definitely be needing. And again, just keep building up military factories in your 100% and 80% provinces. And getting all that air experience is great, so we can now get the air crew surveys. Fewer accidents and more mastery. Huzzah! Huzzah! And Romania is as good as dead at this point. Just go for the victory points. Pin where you can, bypass where you can't, just head for the last couple of victory points. The last couple of ones are like over there, you have to go through the Carpathian Mountains. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, I admit. Whenever this pops up, do not create collaboration governments, simply because we want to govern and rule the territory ourselves. We need to control all of it to form Rome. We'll need to control essentially the entirety of the Mediterranean. And I think that's it with the seizure of Cluj. There we go. And for Romania, same deal. We can simply annex everything and also take their fleet. Now, in theory, you could leave Bessarabia, Moldova, Bukovina in the hands of a Romanian rump state. I'm not going to do that. I don't care enough. So we're just going to take everything and call it a day. That concludes our Balkan Wars. That is 4 countries for the price of 1, relatively minor casualties. And now we build up for the next stage of our operations, which will be to take out the Allies. We're going to put an army on the French border. We're going to put half an army on this French border. Another half of that army on that French border. We're going to take our... where are our troops? Our glorious divisions that we have inherited from Yugoslavia. And we're going to put them on that border down there. And then we'll take our trash integrated with the Camicinere. And we'll put our trash on the border with Poland. Our mountaineers, we are going to be sending back out as expeditionary forces. So we will be sending some help to Spain as well as Japan or China. Either works. And we're going to train more divisions. We're going to train up another army of about 24 divisions, at least 1 more. Get those on a high priority and force deploy them. We'll make some changes to templates later on. So first off, let's help the nationalists by sending them some volunteers. I could send all 5 of my mountaineers as well as air wings. And we'll send our best airplanes as well to help out in the air war. For the Japanese, we'll also send them some troops. We can send 5 divisions. I'll take 5 from one of our armies. Probably main army can spare a couple of divisions, and we'll send them over there as well, along with air volunteers, another air wing, probably some bombers. And we're off to the races. We're now going to spend the remaining time really building out that industry. We're going to fill Italy to the brim. All high infrastructure provinces will be filled with military factories. Later on, we'll sprinkle in a couple of synthetics for rubber and oil as well, but I'll let you know when that happens. And we're also going to be doing the same in Yugoslavia. By building in Yugoslavia, we force down their autonomy, their independence, and we will eventually be able to use this button here to integrate them as well. We need to control the land directly to be able to form glorious Rome. We'll also fiddle with production a bit. We've got factories coming in relatively quickly. So we'll add 1 more to towed artillery, 1 more to towed anti-air. We'll go up to 30, maybe 35 on infantry equipment 1, and then we're going to put 10 into basic small airframes, our basic fighters. Later on, we're going to add, there we go, some bomb locks to this baby using Caproni CAS aircraft designer. And we're going to put some basic CAS into production as well. A couple of factories on that as well. We're going to use the next batch of 50 PP to get the decisive battle specialist. It's not the greatest one we could get, but he is definitely going to help with our naval strategy, which relies on a surface fleet. I'm also exercising the Navy a bit to generate a little bit of naval experience, because we want to grab the naval refit yards, which allows refits and repairs to be much quicker, especially the refitting. It's going to be very valuable for all these light cruisers that do need a little bit of work. For the army, we'll also grab tip of the spear, which will come in handy sooner rather than later, and at this point it's okay to join the German faction. Now, if you want to maximize your XP gain, you can also send volunteers to Manchukuo and the Mongol military government to get your maximum return on the units you're sending out there. So I might just do that as well. It allows you to train additional generals, get them leveled up more quickly. Keep fighting the good fight, keep exercising the troops. Even if it burns a little bit of equipment. Holy shit, I need a lot of equipment for my garrisons. Right, production of guns. It needs to go up. We're going to stop the exercises for now, because I need guns for my boys. We're going to force deploy these guys as well under the Field Marshal, and we'll stock these up on the Polish border. The purpose for that is going to be, I want to get these guys fighting as quickly as possible to get the maximum amount of war contribution in the war. With our 150 PP, we're going to hire the editor for more stability and PP gain, and the next 127 political power will be going to extensive conscription. The extra stability is just always good. The stability just makes everything in the country better. I always prioritize it if I can. We have the Romanian fuel, so we won't need to worry about fuel. So we're going to keep exercising the Navy so we can get some naval doctrines in as well. As we're filling up build slots, I'm also going to build some infrastructure in Abruzzo because it has a lot of spare build slots, followed by mills, obviously. And we're going to build infrastructure in Veneto, get more steel and aluminium from the area. So we are running out of build slots, but that's fine. And we still need to do a whole lot of building in Yugoslavia. Purpose is just to force their autonomy down, and we get a fraction of those mills back indirectly anyway. And Mussolini wants us to strengthen the military, which requires 750,000 men in the field. Right now we have 500,000. Easiest way to make that happen is to simply enlarge the divisions we already have up to the 18 width I love and just absolutely adore. Unfortunately, manpower is a concern, so we have time. I got a year to do it, so we have time. Go up to extensive conscription. Hopefully stockpile a little bit of infantry equipment before we make the switch, and then get going on that. Well, we finally have our special project available, and we're going to go for the Lanciafiamme. Military engineering vehicles, also really good. Love both of these. But the flamethrower tanks are just too good to pass up. And with their experience coming in, we're going to first pick fighter aircraft. I love airspace dominance. I think it's pinpoint strikes. I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting. And as we get more and more factories, we'll be increasing the number we put on, for instance, infantry equipment up to like 40, maybe 50. We'll need a whole bunch of it. Don't forget about the trains. Army experience is trending up nicely. We've managed to unlock the first tech in Mountaineers. We need to head down to holding the line to get the best Mountaineers possible. So we've got our work cut out for us. Air doctrines are underway, and I've got the line of battle selected. Fast battleships, line of battle. I like both. I'm going to try line of battle today. Doesn't really matter all that much, but it's nice to know you've got options. We're also going to justify a war goal on the French. If we do it for a claimed state like Corsica, Savoy, Var, or French Somaliland, it generates a claim that doesn't go away, so the war goal does not expire and it persists. And then we can join the war whenever we want to, because if we wait for Germany to call us in, it's going to be a tad late. But if we join the war on our own terms, everything will be jolly. And the war in Spain is over. The Mountaineers return home in triumph and victory. We've also got a solid amount of manpower as well as infantry equipment in the bank. We're going to take our Divisione di Fanteria and make it bigly. Huge, big, fat divisions. Cost 15, but it will be well worth it. Besides, we're going to get a lot of army experience from our various war fronts that we're sending troops to. So this should give us the army that Il Duce wants, giving us some free army experience and a nice bonus for army XP gain, etc., etc. So all in all, well worth it. It should bring us up to 750. Yeah, well over 750. As for air doctrine, we'll get strike aircraft. Yeah, I think it's pinpoint strikes. I really should remember that. Yeah, there we go. Expanded Italian military. Huzzah! And we'll use the army experience. There we go. For special forces, rough terrain specialists. 2 more, so 120. 132 experience to go. Just keep attacking with these guys. It doesn't really matter if you turn your brain on at all. Finished our justification, and this is a war goal that does not go away. Take claim state, and we can declare that war whenever, so we can get right in on the action. Next batch of political power, we will hire the tactical bombing expert. More ground support is pretty great. And then we'll get a last one, the capital ships expert. So the Navy can do big things with their big guns. Anyway, now that we've worked our way through all the refits and a lot of these dockyards are starting to free up, anything left over can go into convoys, so we would at least get a nice amount of convoys. We will need to naval invade the UK, for which we will need the Navy and convoys, otherwise it's a bit pointless. As for the screens, I'm going to take torpedo primacy. While it's good for our destroyers, you know, getting extra nighttime attack, getting extra torpedo power, but most notably, torpedo primacy allows you to get night fighting, which you otherwise can only get if you have base strike as your grand doctrine. And night fighting is just really good. The reduced visibility plus the nighttime stats are just they're some of the best out there. And the final pick for high command, get the capital ship expert. Pretty nice to have. And that finishes the flame tank. We'll quickly design something of a relatively cheap medium flame tank. Doesn't have to be fast. We can slap a little bit of armor on it. Ooh, cast armor. Nice, expensive. Don't usually do that. As for a turret, whatever gets us breakthrough, so the 3-man turret, we'll slap the flamethrower in there. All the other stuff doesn't really matter. Heavy machine guns, small cannons, all that good stuff. And then some sloped armor, a little bit of extra armor. You know, people like armor. There we go. It's slow as shit. It's worthless to put into an armor division, but I'm not putting it into an armor division. This will serve as a flame support company. Therefore, it costs us nothing. We have a 100% discount on the first design. I'm not going to make medium tanks. If I were, I would make this a slightly different design, but this will do. And I'm going to integrate this with my mountaineers. I'll put like 3 factories on that. I'm going to start making these. I'll take some factories off guns for the time being. I have plenty of guns. I'll move those to the bottom. So we'll start building basic mediums to integrate into our mountaineers. Those flame tanks are really good at boosting your offensive capabilities. We almost have enough experience to finish up what we started with the Mountaineers, and they will be glorious, and all will be well with the world. And through all our volunteer work, we're getting nice amounts of mastery for our doctrine, so these are leveling up nice and quick. We've also finished a couple of upgrades for our airplanes, so we'll go to our fighters. There we go. And we'll replace the main guns with heavy machine guns. And we'll take the turret out, because otherwise they'll be too heavy. And we'll save that for now. And another upgrade for the special forces. We'll take holding the line, and I'll show you in a minute, because this will allow us to make glorious mountaineers. We'll edit the template, add a bunch of mountaineers to this. This is free because of a combination of both our doctrine as well as a spirit of the academy that we took. It would put me over the special forces limit, so I'll have to get rid of either 1 mountaineer, or let's remove that for now. I'll save this for now. I can train up additional infantry, because this number up here, this is the limit that you have. It scales with how many divisions you have, so I'll just queue up like another army of infantry, and that should probably give us should give us enough that we can increase our limit. And with the extra 24 divisions deployed, we now have sufficient capacity to upgrade our divisions as much as we'd like. We're going to be limited to 5 unless, once again, we deploy more units or we get further into the doctrines. But for the time being, this is sufficient. Another army, and I guess we can put this one over there as well. Just get an attack into Poland going. And then this garbage here, we can put on the border with Corsica. For the Mountaineers, I'm going to integrate field hospitals into them. I think it's very important that we use field hospitals. Not only do they preserve manpower, most importantly for special forces like this, they preserve experience. The higher experience the division has, the more combat capable it is. As for basic infantry, I'm going to slap on some support anti-air for them, and they will be sufficient. Now, considering we're swimming in political power, I'm going to take this guy, silent workhorse, and we're going to replace him with an elusive gentleman. And we're going to start working on some upgrades, people. Upgrades. We're going to do the cryptology stuff for our department, as well as grabbing the naval department. I'm a little late to the party, but nothing critical, I hope. And Mussolini wants us to occupy Albania. Fortunately for us, we are well on our way to that. Alright, we got our espionage stuff. Let's start breaking the British cipher, and we'll start putting our spies in France. Oh, there goes the Pope. Oh well. Next up, a delicious Albanian snack. I'll put a guy spying on the British as well. This gives us some intelligence on that, including naval intel, which is very helpful. Now that we do have a little more build slots, we're going to build up a couple of synthetic refineries in our 100% provinces. And Yugoslavia is almost ready to be demoted. Let's grab another doctrine. We have a bonus on this one, so we can quickly get it. Artillery and combat support. I'm just going to go with field engineering. This one is always good. Yay, free Albania. And we'll train up another mountaineer. Every now and then, the cap increases a little. Well, Germany's just grabbed Memel, and we're going to go and grab something else here. I'm going to we're hiding. Justify a war goal on Poland as well. It's going to take roughly 2 months, and it will linger long enough so that we can declare war on both Poland and France, maximizing our war contributions to the, well, maximum. Contribution is going to determine just how much we can grab in the peace deal to come. We have reduced Yugoslavia's level of puppet to, they're now an integrated puppet, so they give us a lot more of their factories, and we've put them to good use. Making more casks, making more fighters, obviously making a lot more guns. We're gonna need guns galore. We've got 6 mountaineers ready to rock and roll and bust through those Alpine lines as soon as the war kicks off. As far as the Mediterranean is concerned, war is gonna hit us sooner rather than later. I've designed 4 task forces led by 2 of our brand new design light cruisers and then 5 destroyers. Purpose of these is simply going to be patrolling. So we will have 4 of these task forces patrolling the general area where I expect the French and British fleets to be, with our own fleet, obviously the main fleet being on strike force. So we've got our war goal on Poland. It won't expire until late September, so lines up nicely with World War II. Perfect. Well, Germany's ahead of time. Danzig or war is being implemented. All right, we'll recall our generals. So we'll quickly reassign the ones that are currently stuck in the distant China. So we'll just reassign them, and we'll stop doing things with those generals over there. The troops I'll simply pull out to safety. Ezio Rossi, you can also come home. I think I have Visconti Prasca over there as well. And you can have Messe. There we go. Soon enough. Sooner rather than later. The Air Force is also deployed. We've got 1,000 fighters here. We've got 150-ish casks with 100 casks still stuck in China. And then 150-ish with about 100 left as well in China. So we've got a reasonable Air Force. It's not as great as Germany's, but our industry just isn't that good compared to Germany. This should be sufficient for our needs nonetheless. So also just almost had a brain fart. All these ships, yeah, they're not meant to be in the Mediterranean. That's my bad. My bad. We're sailing these boys up to Wilhelmshaven. I completely forgot that Gibraltar is a thing, and I almost locked my entire navy into the Med. So, whew, just caught that one on time. And there we go. War. Did they just join the Allies? Huh, Ireland did just join the Allies. How quaint. Anyway, war is a-coming, and we're simply going to preempt Germany. I've paused the game immediately after they finished the Danzig War, and now is our time to shine. The Air Force is up and covering southern France. Mountaineers are concentrated near the north here, and they're going to push through these French divisions to head to Lyon and then fan out. And then I have troops in Africa to, attack and defend. The purpose of these attacks is to simply have as much war participation as possible, and our volunteers will all be recalled. Simply takes a little while. So we're going to preempt this whole thing. We're going to declare war on the Poles. That's a lot of people. Oh, I just realized what I've done. Yeah, these guys are fucked. These guys are fucked. Again, when you declare war, don't call your allies in. Oops. Is all I'll say about that. God, that was stupid of me. Oh well, that's not the end of the world. We're simply going to start all of these attacks, except for this one with these 12 divisions. I'm waiting for the other 12 to come back from China. I'm going to take this big fat navy, and we're going to leave it here in Vissa Ems for now until we have dealt with the French. Punch through towards Lyon. These guys will be overwhelmed and overrun. These guys are attacking here. Everything's going smoothly. Yes, I'm feeling it. Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? I can feel it. Anyway, we're at war now, so now we can finally do things like Super Esercito and other stuff related to being at war with a major. This will help the army. Air Force is absolutely mauling whatever the French have. Look at the troop quality. The air is king. These are not the best airplanes we could have made. We're still making fairly shit airplanes, but we got good range, we got good firepower on them. They are serviceable, and that's really all you can expect. 60% participation, and we can get so much more. How is Africa going? As well as can be expected, I suppose. I've made one of the classic blunders. I've gotten one of my mountaineers encircled. Whoops! Best unencircle them quickly. Yeah, with air power, this is really easy. And our volunteers have returned. We'll group... Where are they? Well, they've returned all the way over there, which is not ideal. Manually railroad them to Turin, assign them to this army on the front, and then when they arrive, we can, start pushing. We will rip out the heart of the French Empire. Mountaineers have already broken through nicely. They will be the tip of the spear pushing north. And Poland should fall over and die any minute now. Captured an agent again. I'm really unlucky with those. We start heading north. To Paris! Et la victoire! Yes, glorious! Poland falls because it must. Hot diggity damn, outside Alexandria. This is going quite smoothly. Our participation, 56%. So Germany is getting quite a bit, but should be able to preempt that still. Okay. That's dumb of me. I managed to get one of my units encircled again. It's turning into a theme here. Now there goes Poland, and now the Polish troops are freed up. We are going to bring them into the French theater, and we're going to go hard and fast with them. This push is going lovely. This is less than lovely, but that's on me. That's not on my puppets. That's on me. And elite mountaineers are ready to drive on through Paris on to Le Havre. Railroad the troops in. Come on. Need to apply pressure before the French can reorganize. I guess they won't be reorganizing. French have capped. Love it when that happens. All right. We mop up whatever's left on the ports, and we're going to get troops in position for the next steps. One of those steps is going to be justification on the Belgians. It just takes 10 days. Justification on Luxembourg, which also just takes 10 days. We're going to get the fleet out, and we're going to reorganize this a bit. So the main fleet can stay as it is, but I'm going to separate out. So we have 10 of the new light cruisers. This is the design we've been pumping out. These are shredders. So we're going to split them into 2 task forces, 5 light cruisers each, and we're going to stick them on patrol in the English Channel. They will sail from Brest with the main fleet on strike force on the English Channel as well. We will set them to never repair and engage at medium risk. We'll do that manually, and we're going to attrit down the Royal Navy, while at the same time bringing the Air Force to bear, putting them over Calais and the English Channel to give ourselves air superiority. And all the CAS can come along and do some naval strike while we're at it. Because we want to end the war on a bang, we're going to get as many people involved as possible. If you defeat the last major in a faction, in this case that would be the UK, the entire faction surrenders, even if, for instance, New Zealand hasn't even been touched. We're going to use and abuse that system now to get a couple of extra people involved, but you don't have to if you don't want to. The people I'm thinking of would be places like Iraq, like Saudi Arabia, places that we can get cores on when we form Italy. One exception would be the Swiss. Would love to get them involved, but I'm not waiting 255 days. See, it should take 10 days, but Switzerland has a plethora of debuffs, I should say, to war goal justification. So the Swiss get to live. And Italo Balbo got himself shot to pieces. Unfortunate, but he was never meant to stick around. In terms of the air war, we're definitely winning it over the Channel. Oh yeah, we're winning it. Big time. In terms of the naval war, that's the first naval engagement. Let's see if the battle fleet actually shows up on time. My fleet has been an utter disappointment. It has decided to get itself sunk. I'm not mad. Well, I am. I am really mad. Hold up. Freeze frame. Okay, I know what you're thinking. That naval battle is really not going your way, and you're right. Couple things here. Some mistakes were made in the development of the video and after recording. So first up, I theorized and worked on the video before the patch, and then did the actual recording a little bit after the patch. My bad. I did not really take the naval changes into account. So what went wrong here is I deployed my good light cruisers separately as my patrolling fleets. Before, that used to work really well because they would be picking off Britain's patrolling fleets and its small task forces relatively quickly, and if anything sizable ran into them or they ran into it, our navy would be right next door and we would just duke it out that way. No harm, no foul. But now the UK specifically deploys its home fleet much more aggressively. The battle fleet comes out a lot more quickly and it hurts. And if you do not have your good light cruisers in the main fleet, they're still relatively easy pickings just because of the sheer numbers discrepancy. They get killed quickly because there's not a lot of them and the British have a lot of ships. So what we should have done, and what we'll do in the next couple of naval battles, as you can see by the next few results on screen, is integrate the good light cruisers into the main fleet. Depleted as it is, it's still a good fleet. And then we send out some shitty destroyers as patrols, as I should have done at the start. The shitty destroyers go out, find the ships, our glorious navy sails forth, and then we have a naval battle to duke it out. And in this case, the light cruisers are much more effective because they're effectively hiding in the chaff of our main fleet. And along with our big hitters and our small but very effective light cruisers, we pick the enemy fleets apart, and as they lose screens, they no longer have screening and their fleets get chewed up, as you can see by these next couple of naval battles on screen. Hope that was helpful. I'm also really sick, so now go back to recording Peter Steele, who isn't sick. Man, I wish that was me. Now that the screens have been dealt with, we're actually taking the big boys out. So this is definitely a sound victory. But yeah, it is more difficult now. What I would recommend for people who are still going to try and do this is take a look at these techs. Damage control, fire control, as well as the armaments to make your navy slightly punchier in the face of danger. Now I'm going to take the most heavily damaged ships out and individually send them back for repairs, and try to keep the rest out afloat to maintain naval dominance so we can get that naval invasion underway. But there's still a lot more Royal Navy where that came from. Anyway, let's get Saudi Arabia involved in this. Why not? I don't trust those bastards in their oil. It's great for participation. Like, this is really giving us a lot of participation we have to get across the channel. A great deal of repairs are going to be needed, though. Oh, that's another battle fleet. These were very scary, but yeah. We're getting them now. We have the measure of the Royal Navy now. You know, if we sink enough of their ships, maybe we can just walk to shore. We have the improved airframe, so we can make the better airplanes. Don't really need to. The ones we have will bring us victory, but while we're here, we'll get the better engine. Top row, all heavy machine guns. At the bottom, let's see if we have the range yet for these guys. Fiat is currently giving us 10% extra range, so not quite the max range we would want. So self-sealing fuel tanks, we'll add some armor plates, and then lastly, extra fuel tanks. Later on, we can replace these extra fuel tanks with another piece of armor, and we will have slightly less range, but a greatly increased survivability. There we go. Control has shifted sufficiently, so we've sunk enough of their ships, reduced their stuff enough, and was a little touch and go there for a minute, but in the end, the strategy still works. I guess I got really unlucky, or they've definitely changed the AI. Either way, we're ready to naval invade. Naval invasions are on their way, and I'm shifting the air to southern England along with all of the cast we have left. Naval invasions are hitting. We may need to resort to last stands, but no, it looks like we are actually landing. There we go. The Mountaineers have landed, and we're going to get going now. With the Mountaineers in, we're also going to send an additional army of infantry across, and then we make sure that we can grab Portsmouth next. Glorious victory. Glorious, glorious victory. Alright, we've taken London. Just gotta keep going. Our participation is still high at 87%. And I'm just sinking ships left, right, and center now. We've got a couple of really good licks in. While that mopping up is ongoing, we're gonna justify a war goal on the Spanish. Why? Well, I want to hit Spain next. Time to go to Birmingham. I don't know why. I don't think anyone wants to go to Birmingham, but I have to. Yeah, air war, absolutely and completely won. Bring all the airplanes over. We have the supply now. We need to make this a reality. All right, got the war goal on the Spanish. We'll hold on to it for now. We don't need them involved in this war. It's almost over. All right, we're just about to finish the war. I had to reload because I forgot about Gibraltar. in the peace deal. So fortunately, this snapshot is from just before finishing. We're gonna quickly justify on Portugal just before we end the war. Peace deal is moments away because the British are 10% away from capitulation. The fall of Cardiff will definitely cement doom for them. Let's head for Dumfries, then in Glasgow, Rosyth, and Dundee. There we go. Peace deal. Okay. So, importantly, to grab yourself a little map of what you need. By and large, it's going to be everything Mediterranean. All of France, all of the Netherlands, all of Belgium, all of Luxembourg, all of the British Isles, all of North Africa, all of Egypt, not Sudan though. These two provinces of Saudi Arabia. Anything left over, you can either leave to Germany or take it because you're spiteful and you just want to have a bigger name on the map. Or even better, just puppet it all. I'm going to quickly get this peace deal worked through. So at the end of this, Britain has only like 800 points. This is usually 4,000, more than 4,000 points worth. They have less than the French. Yeah, we really had to struggle with the Royal Navy. Anyway, we'll take a couple of boats and then we're about ready to finish this peace deal. Right, so second peace deal. We've managed to take everything we need. That is Mare Nostrum, which gives us the decision here. All we need is all of the North African states, which are Spanish, all the Spanish cores, which are, of course, Spanish, and then the Yugoslav cores, which we will integrate through the puppet mechanics. We could send them a big fat lend-lease as well. That always works. You know, you send them a billion convoys, just all of your convoys, and then you can probably integrate them soon after. Alright, got our justification there. Just getting all the troops in position. In terms of focuses, you're basically done. You can do whatever you want at this point. And that's enough troops on the border here. We'll just declare that war, get things over with. Yugoslavia has received our lend-lease. It's a massive chunk of their autonomy, so we can instantly demote them to annexed. Huzzah! The land is ours by right. I'm just gonna delete these divisions because I don't care. I really don't care. So all the North African states and then the Spanish cores. That's easy. Spain's almost done. Alright, that does it for Spain. Just in time for our war with Portugal. Simply annex everything and take their ships. Confirm and exit. Pause the game. Draw the front lines again. This time on Portugal, and we'll make Portugal disappear next. Declare war. Just go in, go hard, go fast. And we can already declare Mare Nostrum. Behold! Imperium Romanum! Glory be to Rome! And we can press a whole bunch of buttons to give ourselves more cores at the cost of 5% stability each, but we can core all of this. We're just lacking the Bosporan Kingdom, the Teutoburg occupation of Iberia, which is like the other Iberia. Ah, right. For the Romans, this is Iberia. This is Hispania. Ah, but yeah, Iberia is over there. So most of this stuff we can actually already start coring. So might as well, while I'm at it, return Roman rule to Gaul. Hell yeah. Rise of the Imperium Romanum. And with that, factory count go up, manpower count go up. All lines go up as they should and as they must. Rome, resurgent, and Mussolini has a beautiful, beautiful new hat. And with that, we simply annex everything, take all their ships, confirm and exit, and voila! All that remains is to spend a whole bunch of political power clicking through these divisions, which is, these decisions, which is, you know, fun in its own right. I don't have that kind of energy today, so I will be saying thank you and goodbye at this point. I hope you guys had fun, and I want to apologize for my little naval crash out. I'm a little overworked. I am a little overworked. I don't know how it happened, but I think I'm a little stressed. Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, please leave a like. Consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me. This is my life's work, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.